the day Emily waited for her entire life. Her own parents stood up in the middle of her wedding and humiliated her in front of 400 guests. They gave her brother $700,000 in cash and handed her a wrinkled $100 bill. But none of them knew who David really was. The truth David carried would make every single person in that hall regret breathing. Emily grew up in Ohio, a small town, middle class. Her entire life, she was compared with her older brother Bradley, the golden boy, the genius, the perfect son. If Bradley scored 80, Emily's 95 meant nothing. If Bradley got a part-time job, Emily's full-time nursing assistant job was still not enough. Her parents worshipped Bradley and ignored their own daughter. Emily got used to it. She swallowed her pain, silently. Years later, Emily met David, a simple, quiet, humble man. He never showed off. He worked somewhere in tech, that's all he told her. He drove an old Toyota, wore cheap watches, ate a homemade lunch daily. But his eyes had a calm that Emily never saw in anyone. He listened to her. He respected her voice. He treated her like she mattered. After 11 months of dating, David proposed. Emily said yes. She was excited and terrified at the same time, because she knew her parents, and she was right. From the first day, her parents judged David like he was a loser. Where does he work exactly? What kind of family is he from? Does he have land? Business? Investments? Emily wanted to scream, "Mom, just be happy for me." But she kept quiet. David, he stayed calm. Always, he just smiled politely. The wedding day finally arrived. A beautiful hall in New Jersey. White lilies, soft jazz music, 1,000 tiny warm lights hanging over the dance floor. Everything was perfect. And then they walked in. Emily's parents, holding 2 gifts, one for Bradley, one for Emily. The hosts announced on the mic, "Emily and David will now receive gifts from her proud parents." Her mother opened the first decorated box and handed Bradley an envelope. Bradley smiled big, acting humble. He opened it slowly, and the entire hall gasped. $700,000. People started clapping. Her parents looked proud. Cameras were flashing. Then, her mother walked to Emily and tossed a cheap envelope in her lap. She laughed and said loudly, "This is all you deserve after choosing a cheap groom." Emily opened it. One single, crumpled, 10-year-old, 100 bill. People laughed. Someone whispered, "Pathetic bride." Emily's vision got blurry. Her hands started shaking. David saw her tears. And finally, something inside him broke. David stood up slowly. His chair made a loud sound. Everyone stared. He fixed his suit jacket, turned his head, and looked directly at Emily's father. His voice was deep, calm, dangerous. "Sir, do you even know who I am?" The hall fell silent. Emily's father smirked. "A poor nobody. A worthless tech employee. That's who you are." David gave a half smile. "No," he said softly. "That's who you think I am." He pulled his phone from his pocket, pressed one button, and within seconds, all the security guards of the entire wedding hall ran inside and stood behind David. People froze. Emily's mother whispered, "Who exactly are you?" David looked around the hall. Next words slow, powerful, like thunder before a storm. "I'm David Collins, and everyone in this room is about to find out the truth." The hall was frozen silent. David spoke with the calm authority of a man who no longer needed to prove anything. "Mr. Parker, Mr. Leon, step inside." The double doors at the back of the hall opened. 2 men stepped in, both wearing sharp black suits, government-level access badges around their necks, and silver briefcases in their hands. Bradley's face went pale. Emily's parents stiffened. David continued. 3 years ago, I wasn't some regular tech employee in a cubicle. I was the lead architect behind a military-grade AI firewall in Silicon Valley. People in the hall whispered in shock. 2 years ago, I started Collins Tech, a small 4-employee startup. He held up 2 fingers. Last week, a Fortune 50 corporation bought it for $4.2 billion. The hall exploded with gasps. Emily's mother grabbed her chair for balance. David walked around the hall slowly, like a professor in a lecture. I drove an old Toyota. I wore affordable suits. I lived small on purpose, to find who sees value in character and who only bows to money. Mr. Parker stepped beside him. These are the acquisition papers showing David Collins as the 100% owner. Mr. Leon opened his briefcase. And these documents show his current net worth. $3.6 billion post-tax. Now, dead silence. Emily's father was shaking.
David, we never knew.
David cut him off, gently but sharply. No, you never tried to know. You never cared to ask Emily what makes her happy. His voice carried weight. All you ever cared about was status. Emily's mother broke down, crying harder. We wanted her to have comfort. Emily interrupted, for the first time in her life speaking over her parents. Comfort? You don't even know what comfort is. Comfort is being respected. Comfort is being safe to speak. I never had that in your house. The hall felt that. David slowly took out the same wrinkled $100 bill. He held it up high where everyone could see it. This cheap wrinkled $100 bill will remind me for the rest of my life how blind people become when they think they know someone's worth. He placed the $100 carefully in the front pocket of his suit. This is now my most expensive badge. He stepped closer to Emily's parents, calm, not angry. Today you came here to show the world your power. Instead, the world saw your pettiness. Bradley tried to speak. David, I didn't know. David looked at him. Bradley, you laughed when your sister was humiliated. You knew enough. Bradley's face collapsed. David took Emily's hand. From this moment forward, his voice thundered. No one humiliates my wife. No one speaks down to her. And no one decides her value ever again. Then something unexpected happened. The entire left side of the hall, the guests who came from David's professional world, stood up and started clapping. Then the right side, then the middle. 400 plus people. Standing ovation. Clapping, cheering. Emily's tears weren't from pain anymore. They were from triumph. Emily rested her head on David's shoulder and whispered, Thank you for choosing me before the whole world ever knew who you were. David responded softly, I didn't choose you because of who I am. I chose you because of who you are. And her parents? They sat there, silent, small, destroyed by their own arrogance.